Derrick Thompson, the 100 miles per hour crash that killed 5 friends. On a warm summer night in Minneapolis, 5 young women were driving together, laughing, talking about dresses, music, and a wedding they were preparing to attend. It was supposed to be a happy night, a night about friendship, a night about the future. But just a few miles away, another car was racing through the city streets at over 100 miles per hour. Behind the wheel was a man fleeing police. Inside his car were drugs, a loaded gun, and a decision that would destroy multiple families forever. By the end of the night, 5 young women would be dead, and a man named Derrick Thompson would be facing the rest of his life in prison. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to Unveiled Truth Crime Tales and turn on notifications so you don't miss our weekly true crime stories. This is the story of the Interstate 35W crash that shocked Minnesota and the man responsible. June 16, 2023, started like any other summer evening in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The city was alive. Cars filled the highways. Music played from open windows. People were heading to restaurants, parties, and late-night gatherings. That night, 5 young women were together in a car. They were close friends and family, a tight-knit group who had grown up together in the same community. They were Sarah Gassad, 20 Salma Abdicator, 20 Siberian Ali, 17 Sigal Hersey, 19 Siham Ottawa, 19. They were preparing for a friend's wedding, a celebration, a moment that should have been filled with joy and memories. But at around the same time, Minnesota State Patrol was watching a different vehicle. A Cadillac was speeding, driving aggressively, weaving through traffic. A state trooper began following the vehicle on Interstate 35W. The trooper did not activate emergency lights, meaning this was not yet a full police chase. But the driver noticed the trooper, and then he made a decision. He sped up. Court documents later revealed that Derrick Thompson was driving over 100 miles per hour. At that speed, a car becomes a weapon. Witnesses said the Cadillac was swerving passing cars, dangerously running red lights, driving with no regard for anyone else on the road. The trooper testified that Thompson exited the interstate onto Eastlake Street at extremely high speed. At the same time, the 5 young women were driving through the intersection. They never saw it coming. The Cadillac slammed into their vehicle with catastrophic force. The crash was so violent, so sudden, so destructive, that all 5 women were killed instantly. Just like that, 5 lives were gone. 5 daughters. 5 friends. 5 futures erased in seconds. When emergency responders arrived, the scene was devastating. The victim's car was destroyed. Debris was scattered across the intersection. Bystanders stood in shock. Inside the Cadillac, police made disturbing discoveries. They found a loaded handgun, over 2,000 fentanyl pills, other narcotics. This was not just a reckless driving case anymore. This was a man speeding through a city with enough fentanyl to potentially kill thousands of people. Investigators now believe Thompson wasn't just driving recklessly, he may have been trying to get away. Derrick Thompson, 29 years old, was arrested and charged with 5 counts of third-degree murder, 10 counts of criminal vehicular homicide, federal fentanyl charges, federal firearm charges. The case quickly gained national attention. And there was another reason the case made headlines. Derrick Thompson was the son of former Minnesota State Representative John Thompson. Now, the story wasn't just about a crash. It was about drugs, politics, reckless driving, and 5 young women who never made it home. During the trial, Derrick Thompson's defense team made a shocking claim. They argued that Derrick was not driving. Instead, they said his brother, Damarco Thompson, was behind the wheel. Damarco testified in court and said he was not in the car during the crash. He had only been inside the Cadillac about 30 minutes earlier when it was rented. Derrick was the one who had the vehicle. Prosecutors presented evidence including trooper testimony, surveillance footage, rental records, phone data, witness statements. The jury didn't believe the defense. In July 2024, Derrick Thompson was convicted on all major charges. The judge sentenced Derrick Thompson to 58 years and 8 months in prison for the crash that killed the 5 women. But that wasn't the end. In federal court, he was also sentenced to 14 additional years for fentanyl possession, and trafficking illegal firearm possession. Some of the sentences will run concurrently, meaning at the same time. But in total, Derrick Thompson is expected to spend about 64 years in prison. For a 29-year-old man, that is effectively a life sentence. This story is not just about a criminal. It's about the victims. 5 young women who had their entire lives ahead of them. Sarah Gassad, 20 Salma Abdicator, 20 Siberian Ali, 17 Sigal Hersey, 19 Siham Ottawa, 19. They were sisters, friends, students, daughters. They were getting ready for a wedding. Instead, their families planned 5 funerals. One decision, to drive 100 miles per hour, destroyed everything. This case also highlighted 2 major issues. Police found over 2,000 fentanyl pills in the car. Fentanyl is one of the deadliest drugs in the world. Just a tiny amount can be fatal. Authorities believe the pills were intended for distribution. At 100 miles per hour, a driver has almost no control. Reaction time is reduced. Stopping distance is massive. And any crash becomes deadly. This crash wasn't an accident. It was the result of reckless decisions. 5 young women are gone forever. Their families will live with that pain for the rest of their lives. Derrick Thompson will spend decades in prison. And all of it started with one decision: to run, to speed, to ignore everyone else on the road. True crime stories often leave us with one question: was it worth it? For Derrick Thompson, the answer will echo for the next 60 years of his life, from inside a prison cell. If you made it to the end of this story, thank you for watching. Stories like this remind us that true crime isn't just about criminals. It's about victims, families, and the consequences of one terrible decision. If you want to hear more true crime stories like this, subscribe to Unveiled Truth Crime Tales, like this video, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. And as always, stay aware, stay safe, because the truth is often more terrifying than fiction.